Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brian and welcome back to our channel. Today we're actually working on my 2008 Acura TL Type S. What's going on right now is every time I start the car, you guys will hear something like this. Has that happened to you guys before? It's happened to me many times before. And I'll show you exactly how we approach this. There's a few reasons why that happens. It would be low compression, a bad piston ring, or something going on with your heads. In this case, it's my piston rings, or actually the ringlets within the piston. I do not know exactly why my ringlets cracked on this car, but I know it's going to be the ringlets because when the car started, I would come over to the dipstick right here. I pull it up, and this is when the car is already warm. You'll see vapors, like white smoke coming out of this hole or your oil fill hole right over here. And right now it's kind of smoking only because it's trying to cool off because I was driving it around. But yeah, so those are the few indications of how you guys can figure out if it's a bad piston ring or ringlet. In this case, it's a ringlet failure. I know 100% it's going to be the ringlet failure. But yeah, stay tuned because I'm going to show you guys exactly how I take this whole motor apart. Now, before we get started, I just want to make a little disclaimer that I am actually not a mechanic. Everything I've done here is all based off experience and my personal knowledge. So, unfortunately, this is not a professional video. Let's get back to the video. Alright, so the first thing I always want to check for is the coolant. Check to see how the coolant looks, smell, and see if this nipple up here is still intact. Oftentimes, that might be the reason why you're having an issue. Coolant smells good, so we're going to put that aside. We're actually going to pull this one up as well. I'm going to put it on one of the sides. Let's pull up all these panels. And all these panels. There we go. The battery's loose. Yep, the battery is loose. So we might as well pull out the battery just so everything discharges. Pull this out. So I'm actually not going to get too in depth with tearing this whole top end apart. Alright, so as you guys can see here, we got the piston off. Upon quick examination, this is what I found right here. I don't know if you can see it, but basically here's that ringlet that failed on us. It's just this one, and possibly this one right below it. So let me just go ahead and take this out, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let me just put this aside really quick. That's the first ring. This is the second ring. And already I'm seeing that thing failing. So there we go. So right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's that piece. This is the reason why you're having a misfire and a low compression. There's another ringlet right here that's failing. That's for the oil scraper. We're gonna go ahead and take that apart as well too. Zoom this out a little bit so you guys can kind of see better. Alright, if I can take that out. And there's a specific way of putting these back together. I'll show you guys in a sec. That's the top ring. Take this off. Let's remove the bottom one first. There we go. And the oil scraper. So there we go. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Let's see here. There we go. That'd probably be better. Ringlets basically failed. Why? I actually don't really know. But judging by the look of this looks like it's okay. But like I feel like it could be just carbon deposits that's causing, irregular expansion in here. But other than that, I don't know how else or why else this would be a problem. Alright, you know what? We're gonna take this off. We're gonna take the rods out. Oh yeah, I gotta inspect this one as well to see that it's good. It looks like it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna hammer this out and I'm gonna take this off. Alright, so now we're gonna be taking this apart. Here are the new parts. The rings and the piston. Oh, I guess this piston doesn't come with the little pins. That's okay, you know, it's not a big deal. We can just go ahead and reuse this old one. It's completely fine. First, what you want to do is grab a tool. Grab your tools to remove that little pin. So just in case you guys are all wondering, you do need basic tools to remove this. So I'm gonna use this right here. I'm gonna pull it straight up. That's one. Pull this one straight up. And that's two. It flew right in my shirt. Next, you're gonna have to hammer this out. But I think it should be fine. Just, you know, pushing it out lightly with something like this. You know what? Let's do a makeshift. Because this stuff is really easy to come off. There we go. See, already it's already coming off. Let's get at an angle really quick. This is much better. I'm not putting too much force into it because I don't want anything damaged. These rods, when you damage it, oh man. You're gonna have a whole lot of fun. Alright, looks like it's almost off. Let's actually elevate this just a little bit, since this thing is like, I guess, done. Or you could actually, since this one is really bad now, it's better to probably grab a socket that fits. There we go. And hammer away. There we go, there's that. And you want to grab this one as well. So I'm going to continue hitting this out. This is actually stiff. Stiffy boy. It's okay. Uh-oh. Not good. Not too bad. Usually these are very stiff, so you guys should be fine if you guys do drop it. And that's the piece of crap piston I'm going to be replacing with this beautiful, beautiful new piston. I already replaced one. So this comes pretty easy for me. First things first, I'm going to put this ring back on. I think they have tools for this, but I don't know. I usually just put them in and hope it goes in. Just like that. Grab a flathead. It's a little difficult today. It's hot today as well. There we go, one side's in. And then what you want to do is kind of move it around. look where it goes before. It's a hot day, guys. It's a really, really hot day. Not the best day to be working on cars. There we go, that's in. Kind of line it up just a little bit. There we go. So how I like to do it right here is, so the ring looks like this. You know, it's a little circle thing with a little gap right here. I would put the gap the opposite way of where you would pry the ring out. Okay, cool. Next, I'm gonna wipe and clean this one down. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Inspect it to make sure, you know, the rods are still good. Which I'm pretty sure is really good because, like, I don't see any issues with this. Just marring because I was hitting it earlier by accident. But yeah, make sure it's all good. Now, normally people heat this up. I've never had to heat this up. But one thing you need to, you know, kind of pay attention for is the direction of this. I took it out in one direction. So this goes like this. See this right there? And then, where is that? So there's a little square right here. You want to match it up with this over here. So the square and square goes in one side, just like that. And then you just basically push this one in. This one's gonna be a lot easier to push in because, you know, it's new. Take your time with it. Grab this. Something's wrong with this. Let's see why. Okay, looks like it goes in just fine. I don't know what's going on here. It's okay. Cool. This elevated just a little bit. That. Make sure it's in all the way. Make sure it's actually moving too, because you don't want something that doesn't want to move, right? Okay, make sure that everything's all good. The square is up to this square. Alright. Pop in this other retaining chip clip thingy. Okay. There we go. Beautiful new piston. It's gonna go in So say this is, you're looking at the engine, right? Let me just move this up just a little bit. So you're looking at the engine. It goes like this. The label faces backwards, or like upside down when you're looking at it. And this basically points towards the timing. Alright, last but not least, the rings itself. How I like to do this is, so there are indicators, 2R and 1R. Usually, okay, one is like a squared and one is a curve, so it's gonna be this one right here. Anyway, so first things first, I'm gonna put the ring scraper in first. Zoom this out just a little bit for you guys. So ring scraper in first. I'm gonna put it like right about here. Perfect. This doesn't really matter which side, but as long as you're doing it kind of like opposite of each other. So say if I do this on this side, that little gap right here, my other gap would be on this side. So let's turn it over here and do that gap on that side as well. This one goes at the bottom. Cool. So gap at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see it. When you turn to this side, you'll see this gap over on this side. I'm going to be right back, just in like a second. So, where were we? We were talking about how this gap will be on this side. I don't know if you guys can see it. That gap's going to be on that side. And the other gap will be somewhere around on this side. So right here. So we're done with that. Next, so we already know the two gaps are right here. We're looking from right here. So the other gap is going to be both the first and secondary rings. The first ring, actually no, we're going to do the second ring first because the second ring is more like a squared look to it. If you look really close, I can't really show you guys on here because camera can do so much. But this one on this car specifically says 2R, I guess, which stands for second ring, ring number 2. There's a tool to doing this, but I've honestly had no issues doing it the way I'm doing right now. See, so that one's going on that side. And 1R. 1R has a little, if you look really, really close, it's not squared. It has like a little curve at the bottom. If you guys look at the service manuals, you guys will actually see it on there. But yeah. So 1R and 2R. Both are spaced out properly. And then ring and ring. Now, we're basically going to make sure that the little lash thing, I forget what it's called, is on. I'm going to grab my compressor and we're going to compress this ring. And then here's my compressor. I just got to make sure it's clean first because you don't want to introduce, dirt into it. It also helps to coat the cylinder walls with some oil as well, which I will do right when I head over to my car. So let's actually open this up just a little bit. Make sure the rings are in place. Try not to move it as much. If you guys do move it a little bit, it's not a big deal. There we go. Oh, let's open this up a little more. Wow. So before we do that, I just want to make sure that everything's all in place. There are little grooves under the ring where you can see it. So let's put that into place and tighten it up. Do we need this crazy tight? No, but I'm gonna do it pretty tight. Cool, so now we're gonna go into the car. All right, here's the car. I removed both cylinders so that it's a lot easier for me to work with this. But basically, let's go ahead and clean this out really quick. Grab some new towels. Although preferably you should probably grab like a new towel, or like not new, but like more like a lint-free towel. This one's fine. The other thing I'm gonna inspect is to see how the bores are, and the bores look perfect actually. Cool. So I'm gonna make sure that all this is cleaned out properly, and we're gonna basically put this on. What I told you guys, this one goes straight in. Start that up. Right there. And then this is the part where you gotta basically hit it as hard as you can. Not crazy hard, but just hard enough. So I'll show you guys exactly. We don't have that, so I'm gonna use this one right here. Firm hits, all right? There we go. It's in all the way. And the rest, you can check to see how it looks. Kind of move the piston down just a little bit. There we go. It looks good. This is the new piston. This is also a new piston. This is an old piston. I might want to pull this one out to check to make sure how it looks. But at the same time, I kind of don't because it's a high risk. I don't want to have to replace another piston, but it's probably a good idea to check it out. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. But I know for sure these two pistons were replaced because I replaced them myself. This one was acting up because of, like I said in the beginning of the video, it was giving me that little error, the misfire. And now, you know, that's about it. So I'm going to put everything back together so you guys can kind of see. Hopefully this is like a little quick time lapse of everything. All right, enjoy guys. we're gonna go straight to firing this up. So it's gonna take about like, I don't know. This is probably gonna take about like another 30 minutes for me to put everything back in place. And then from there, I'm gonna let this car sit so that the Honda bond underneath where I put on the oil pan dries up, because you need about 3 to 5 hours to make sure that the everything all dries up and it's clear to go. So I'm not even gonna add any fluids in here except for coolant. That's about it. All right, see you in the next second, I guess. All right, so it's done. Let me see here. I'm gonna zoom this up. I guess I can't zoom it out anymore. So it is done. All the fluids are filled up. This is kind of topped off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the key, let it prime the fuel first really quick, and then I'm gonna turn it over. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna unplug this, and actually, you know what? I'm just probably gonna leave it like around here somewhere. Give me 1 sec. All right, let's hear how it sounds. Sounds really good. Alright, so now you guys are going to see smoke coming out, which is completely normal. What it's going to do is basically burn out all the oil that's sitting from earlier. But listening to everything, it sounds normal. I see a little bit of misfire with the motor. Again, it's still mixing within the coolant inside the cylinder walls, so eventually that'll all burn out completely. But yeah, and that's how you repair a misfire, or in this case, a ringland failure. The average hour about this, it took me about 8 hours, I want to say. I started at 10 or 11, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, it's 4, so never mind, it's 6 hours. So yeah, about a 6-hour job, if you guys know exactly what you're doing. I'm just gonna let this thing run for a little bit, make sure this is purged through, burping out the system. Once this gets hot, that's when I know it's almost ready. And once the fan kicks in as well, that's when I know it's ready. So far the fan's not kicking on, but this is all just oil right now. As you guys can probably see, it's smoking. But yeah, all right.